Hello, I'm Mr. Snapper.
And I'm Red Snapper.
Welcome to
Project Nutmeg.
Let me down. Let me down. Enough of this.
We just killed a spider, and dogs don't waste protein.
They don't, not at all.
Today we're talking about Nutmeg and her arch nemesis on the agility course, the weave poles.
Yep, the weave poles. Why is that funny?
Oh, can you add in some like evil
Bum.
right, and add in like evil things on the screen, whatever evil looks like.
Whatever evil looks like.
Today we're talking about Nutmeg and her arch nemesis on the agility course, the weave poles.
Yep. The weave poles have never been her strongest skill. Nutmeg loves the exciting stuff. Walking on high planks, flying over hurdles, running through tunnels. She's been going through tunnels since she was practically a baby.
Remember when we brought that IKEA tunnel home?
You mean this IKEA tunnel?
She got past her fear of tunnels pretty quickly, but the weaves? That's a different story.
Completely different story. We think part of the issue is how we initially trained her.
How I initially trained her. It's
How
very
you-
kind of you to say we.
You say the royal weave.
But
Instead of teaching her to see the weave poles as one continuous motion, she was coached to take each pole individually, which makes sense because you got the poles. And it's like, okay, here's a treat. Come around this pole. Good girl. Okay, come around this pole. Good. It makes perfect sense. That's the only way Chowder will do weave poles. But then we're watching Buster. It was
Her
another
classmate.
her classmate Buster, a completely different Buster from our sweet dear Buster. It's a beautiful white poodle who is just a beast in agility. Amazing. This dog is amazing. And you can see this as well in video of whoever does it, Westminster, or whoever does the dog
Krups
agility.
or something.
That the dogs that do the agility poles treat it as one unit. Just like you hit a hurdle. You hit a hurdle. You go up the A-frame and down the A-frame. It's a unit. It's a distinct thing. When they hit the weave poles, it's not, oh, weave pole, weave pole, weave pole. It's weave, and they're on.
And you call out the command. One
Right.
command.
One command.
One command for them. That's not a specific rule. You can only call out one command.
No.
But that's what happens because you have multiple pieces, sometimes 18 pieces. So
Yeah.
it's A-frame, over, instead of hurdle,
Right.
over. Poles. I say poles.
You say
because we have weave as figure 8 between the legs.
Yeah.
But I coached her to take each pole individually. That's not how the poles are built at school. At home, we could line up the poles and have her walk around them. Or some of these kits, these consumer level kits that are for sale, make it seem like you put down, you run the rope around these poles and you make the dog go around the outside. So at school, they have a metal track that all of the weave poles are set up on. They're not staking them into the ground individually. And they'll pull them apart. So the dog learns to run down this thing that's pulled apart. If you don't have that at home, it's kind of hard to get them to focus on that. We do the athletic spray paint on the ground with the poles that we have. But in order to push them together closer and closer and closer so that the dog knows I run the white line.
Right. Well, and then as the poles begin to intrude on their space, they begin to weave because they're just trying to avoid, because the poles are in their way. And then as the poles get moved further and further in, I think the logic is the dog will just keep doing the same thing.
Right, and they're following the white line.
Right, yeah.
So teaching her to go pole by pole is like teaching someone to go up a ramp, but never teaching them how to come back down.
Yeah, or teaching them that that's part of going up a ramp is
Right.
coming back down. It's like, oh, I went up the ramp. What? I'm done.
Or walking. Step right.
I'm done.
Okay, now you step left
I
for it to
walk,
be
I can
walking,
step
not
right.
a weight shift.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes logical sense to teach weave poles as a unit. Mm-hmm. So we got serious and we set up weave poles in the backyard and worked with her whenever she wasn't too busy chasing squirrels with Chowder.
Even before that, she was busy chasing squirrels
with Buster. With Coca.
Yes, with Buster and Coca. And we didn't stop there. We took her to a dedicated weaves class because they had a, like, zhuzh up your weave skills or your pole skills at Zoom Room. Instead of just 6 poles at home, she practiced with 12 at school. The great thing about going to class to practice is that there are no squirrels.
0 squirrels. So 12 poles instead of 6 reminded me, and this is weird, stay with me, the movie about the Olympics, the first Olympics, well, not the first Olympics, but the first modern Olympics. And the U.S. Olympic team were practicing with the discuses and shot puts that were way bigger and heavier than what they wound up competing with because they were basing the size on old Greek artwork and stuff. And they overestimated, so they were practicing with stuff that was way too big, way too heavy. So then when they got to the Olympics, and it's like the shot put goes from being a cannonball to being like, the size of a croquet ball, they're like, oh, okay, I got this. It's like, I've already done 12 pulls, 6 pulls? Come on, that's easy.
Well, that's a lot like learning to play acoustic guitar versus electric guitar. Because electric, you can, crank it up. You don't have to make sure that you're working hard enough.
You just crank up the distortion.
Exactly. But you really have to work your fingers in order to play acoustic guitar. I'm working the fingers.
I was about to say, I like watching you work the fingers.
Or sometimes it's like how soccer players will practice with a tennis ball.
Oh, yeah, to get their footwork.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
She did wonderfully in the weaves class. She was definitely tired by the end because I think she went 4 times for different cycles through.
Yeah, each time. So like everything else when it comes to agility, all the equipment's set up in the thing. And for that particular class, there were 3 dogs, I think. 3?
3 dogs.
So you take turns. You go in, you do your thing, and then you go out and you rest. And you go around in a circuit. And then, but when you were in, you did 4...
Or you did a few runs while you're in there.
Did a few runs while you're in there.
Right. You do a few runs while you're in there, but you cycle through. So the dog doesn't get too tired of the one thing. And you don't have other people who have paid to take this class who are sitting waiting for 30 minutes straight to get in to have a turn.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just, we would do it a couple times, and then I'd leash her up, step out, and then somebody else would go in and do it a few times. So it's the same kind of round robin thing.
So it's not like constant for 45 minutes doing the thing.
Exactly.
She had some rest, but even still, by the time class was over, she was tired.
She was very tired. But the entire time, you could tell how much she enjoyed it. Seeing video of her, she's wagging.
She's so happy.
She loves agility, and it's a great way for us to bond. I do want to say about the classes, there's, the whole round robin thing. Don't worry about how much time you are getting while you are there. When you go to Zoom Room or another round robin kind of situation with your dog being trained. Different dogs need different things. So Chowder, when he is in agility training, he needs a bit more time to get motivated and grooved in to the point where he will do the things, at least at this point in his life.
No dough, no show.
Nutmeg, she gets distracted. She hops on other things. Sometimes she decides to make her own agility course while we're in the room. But when we run the course, we run the course. So I don't have to worry about luring her through every single thing. We're doing the circuit. And if it takes us 3 minutes to go through and she is tired because she's got stubby little legs, and I'm a little tired because I don't have stubby little legs, but, I'm older and I'm running along with her. It's not a big deal if we get 3 minutes and then a dog who is like Chowder gets 6 minutes in there. Right. We'll all get the same number of turns. If your dog is stronger at a thing, performing better at a thing, great. Amazing. It's great that you're reinforcing that thing. Some take a little more time. So Don't count the clock or check your watch. I mean, I've talked about how much time each turn is when there are 8 dogs in the room.
Yeah.
It's about this much time, but it's about that much time.
That's right.
And she was tired after we did it like the 3rd time, the 3rd cycle. We just happened to do a 4th cycle. I was like, are we done after 3? And they said, no, you're going to do another one. I was like, all right, cool. And we took a little break, and she was out of energy, and she slept so well.
She did. The next agility league at our local Zoom room starts soon, so we're really working to level up her skills. We don't expect her to place any higher than she did last time. 3rd place is amazing for a dog like Nutmeg with stubby little legs.
She does have stubby little legs. But yeah, placing higher isn't the goal. Even though we don't turn down hardware, we love having trophies and medals and crowns, oh my. We just want her to perform better and to have fun. Honestly, 60% of why I signed her up for Agility League again is because she loves it. And 40% is because it's great for me too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go over. Yes, holes.
Yay! I mean, plus, really, all this training is adding to her skill set for stage performances. So now at this point, she does all the things. She hops on the boxes. She hops in the boxes. She'll dance around. She'll do pirouettes.
She'll do pirouettes.
But she can
spin.
go up an A-frame and down an A-frame.
Yes.
She can go through a tunnel.
Yep.
She can do, in fact, we were looking at clear vinyl tunnels.
Yes, so that you could watch her run through the tunnel, because how fun is that?
It'd be really fun on stage. So if you produce a theater show within driving distance of the DFW, hit us up, because that's really still the aim of this, is to get her in front of an audience.
Yes, we want to perform together. And it is not just Nutmeg in our household who is in training. One of the mottos at Zoom Room is we don't train dogs, we train people who love them. And that is so true. We've learned a lot about ourselves as trainers and as performers through this whole process, this entire project Nutmeg.
Yeah. And again, this video isn't sponsored by Zoom Room. We're just really huge fans.
So that's where we are with Nutmeg and the weave poles. She's working hard, and so are we.
Do you have any tips for teaching weave poles or agility training in general? Drop us a note in the comments below.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and boop that bell for notifications.
And you will see us next time.
Bye.
Bye.